Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone had an awesome weekend. It was much too short for my liking. Much too short for my liking. Hey, how's it going, Pirate Ninja? I swear, work weeks should be 4 days a week, period. Full stop. Maybe because I had a long weekend. I had a long weekend before this one. Make it happen. Can somebody ban this weird username saying Trump 2024? Can we get a mod in chat to ban that username? Are you ready for it? Oh no, I'm not. I'm really not, because the reality is, as much of a meme as that is, it's possible. It's quite possible. We'll get into that. Unfortunately. Will he be alive then? Who knows? But the reality is he's definitely looking to run. No doubt about it. Whether or not he'll actually end up doing it, I'm not sure, but he's definitely up there. If he's alive, he'll be the nominee. I think so. I think it's quite possible. Alright folks, we got plenty of stuff to go over, so let's get some of this started. The first article was kind of got lost in the weeds in the weekend, so I just want to make sure we go over this really quickly. Pfizer's set to seek the okay for the third vaccine dose. The shots still currently protect. As far as we know, they are still overwhelmingly efficient. Thank you for the follow, Baked Cupcake. I appreciate that. They're still overwhelmingly efficient, so we will see if we need a third booster. That all depends on what we do. That depends on on us really, on what we do. Pfizer's about to seek US authorization for a third dose of its COVID vaccine, saying Thursday that another shot within 12 months could dramatically boost immunity and may help ward off the latest worrisome coronavirus mutant. Who do we need banned? HRC. Can you believe that progressives think that climate change isn't that big of a deal and we just have to wait for the tech? Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'm sure there's people like that. It's not exactly the conversation that we need to be having, really. Because it's like a fantasy, right? You're living in a fantasy world. You're literally living in a fantasy world. That's not how any of this works. If you were to tell me that maybe 20, 30 years ago, you know, let's start developing technology and stuff like that, maybe we could have it, but this isn't the time for that conversation. This is not the time for that conversation. It's like, at this point in time, we need to do everything we can and anything we can within the time that we have to get ourselves off fossil fuels. I mean, like, there's just no way around it, really. And we have current technology to help us. I mean, like, it's a pipe dream to think that we're just gonna have to sit here and there's just nothing we can do. But also, eventually, there's going to be this fantastic new technology that's going to save us all. Nope. Researchers from multiple countries show the Pfizer shot and other widely used COVID vaccines offer strong protection against the highly contagious variant, Delta variant, which is spreading rapidly around the world and now accounts for the most new US infections. Also, noted that Florida made it to top 5 of the newest infections, or I guess recent infections, and B, one of the 5 hotspots for the new Delta variant. Excellent job, Florida. Real good job. Excellent. Excellent job. 2 doses of the vaccines are critical to develop high levels of virus-fighting antibodies against all versions of the coronavirus, not just the Delta variant, and most of the world is still desperate to get those initial protective doses as the pandemic continues to rage. The best thing that we can do, honestly, the best thing that we can do is our part: get vaccinated, follow the science. If you have any questions, if you have any type of doubts, if you have any concerns, real simple, ask your doctor. That's it. That's literally it. That is ludicrous. Spread it forward. Absolutely ludicrous. But antibodies naturally wane over time, so studies also are underway to tell if and when boosters might be needed. So far, a lot of like preliminary studies are showing that actually the double shot of the mRNA vaccine seem to be holding up pretty good. Some are even saying that it's actually way past the 6 months. We could probably hang tight for even a couple of years, although I'm sure more testing will be done. But it looks good. The whole reason why they're attempting to get ahead of this and try to get the okay for the 3rd booster shot is because, well, let's be honest, we're not near herd immunity, anywhere near that. I think just above 50% of people have gotten the complete fully vaccinated, which leaves us another 20, 30 to 30% that need to be vaccinated. So yeah, it's not close. When will science discover how to plant trees? One day. Right, sourcing. Like even the latest like leak of the IPCC report, and actually we went over a recent study that said that at this point in time, the language that's being used right now in terms of like how new scientific studies have come out seems to be, it's not about prevention, it's about mitigation and adaptation was the language that they used. It's about mitigation and adaptation, right? So that's the point we're at. Yeah, I mean, like, in a perfect world where we can just, like, snap our fingers and say, okay, the whole entire international, like, community, we ourselves stop everything, everybody, like, get together and do this, it's highly unlikely. It's really, like, up to us to, like, begin that process. It's really up to us to begin that process. If not, it's not gonna work. But it's highly unlikely. Like, it is incredibly improbable that we will even... I mean, like, locked in at best, we have, like, 2. If we do everything we can to curb it, at worst, we'll be looking at twice that. On Thursday, Pfizer's Dr. Mikael Dolsten told the Associated Press that early data from the company's booster study showed that people's antibodies levels jumped 5 to 10-fold after the 3rd dose compared to their 2nd dose months earlier. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this makes sense. Alio coming in hot with the 10 biddies. How's it going? Oh, nice to see a couple of cool folks. How's it going, server girl? Howdy, howdy. Right, which is carbon negative sourcing support at that point. In August, Pfizer plans to ask the Food and Drug Administration for emergency authorization for a third dose. What might that matter for fighting the Delta variant? Dolson pointed to data from Britain and Israel showing the Pfizer vaccine neutralizes the Delta variant very well. The assumption, he said, is that when antibodies drop low enough, the Delta virus eventually could cause a mild infection before the immune system kicks back in. Huh. But the FDA authorization would just be the first step. It wouldn't automatically mean Americans get offered the boosters. Huh. Cautioned Dr. William Schaffner, a vaccine expert at the Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Public health authorities would have to decide if they're really needed, especially since millions of people have no protection. Oh, you're really sick. I see. Well, I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. The vaccines were designed to help us keep us out of the hospital. Giving us another dose would be a huge effort while we're at the moment of striving people to get the first dose. Yeah, so like I think that this is just kind of like a preliminary trying to get ahead in case we don't reach herd immunity. In which case those folks may be needing a third booster shot. We don't know. TLDR, please go get vaccinated. Plenty of ways of doing so. If you have any questions or if you have any type of concerns, do not listen to people on the internet. Just ask your doctor. That's it. If you have any type of questions or concerns about any of the vaccines, about who's it available to, where, how, side effects, talk to your doctor. Only your doctor can realistically answer those questions. Alright, let me go over this one here.
To a new analysis of data made available earlier this year, hospitals are routinely charging uninsured patients more than what they're charging insured patients.
Really? And why might that be? Is it because prices aren't transparent? Is it because people have absolutely no idea, no information? So they could just basically charge whatever? Amazing.
So before we get into the statistics, to all the nitty-gritty of this, let me just explain what that statement alone means. It means that not only do we have a problem of affordability with healthcare here in the United States, we already know that. Even people with health insurance are often saying, I still can't afford to go to the doctor, I still can't afford my medication, yada, yada, yada. But the uninsured people, they're not even having to pay the same prices that the insured people are. They're having to pay even more for the same service. So let's say insured individual number one go.
This is a market failure known as God, what is it in? Let me see here. Let me see if I can remember it. Yes, asymmetric information. This is a classic market failure of the healthcare system. It is asymmetric or imperfect information. In other words, we don't really know, unless you're like really into business, the exact prices, and therefore they can technically charge whatever they want. Sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes uninsured folks will be charged less, but they will really stick it to the insurance companies to try to like suck up as much money as possible, which causes a rise in premiums and so on and so forth. It's rent-seeking, it encourages rent-seeking behavior, leads to other market failures, yada yada yada. TLDR, massive problems with the privatization of healthcare. Not good, folks.
Goes in and has an MRI on their knee. The insurance company gets billed
Lawsuit.
$5,000
How's it going?
for it. Let's say uninsured individual goes in, has the same MRI, same suspected problem on the same knee, same hospital, same day, same doctor, same technician, same everybody, but they get charged $8,000 for the same procedure. That's what this story is saying. That's what the analysis is. Because again, earlier this year, an order went into effect that said hospitals had to make publicly available how much they were charging patients. So this is all based on the information that came out once hospitals had to release this data. So here's the key findings of this analysis. This is from the Wall Street Journal.
It's more greed than incompetence. It's more greed than incompetence because, at the end of the day, they are a company, and their only objective is to put as many pennies in their pocket as possible. That's what it is.
Hospitals routinely bill uninsured patients at their highest rates. Not just a higher rate, their highest rates. About 21%, or 319 of the hospitals, did so for the majority of the services included in the analysis. At 171 of those hospitals, the cash rate was higher than all of the rates billed to insurers, or tied for the highest rate for every service in the analysis. Everything across the board. On average, across the 1,166 hospitals that included rates for Medicare Advantage plans.
Yes, that's what... See, but that's the thing. The insurance company negotiates the price down, but because the hospital knows this, they inflate the prices beforehand.
In their disclosures, the fees for uninsured patients were 3.6 times the average rates paid by the Medicare Advantage plans. 3.6 times more. Some dominant local and regional nonprofits, including Mass General Brigham, based in Boston, and Avera, based in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, billed the uninsured at their general hospitals some of their highest prices, while also setting some of the most restrictive financial aid policies for free care nationwide. Cash prices, which haven't been available publicly to help patients choose where to seek medical care, often vary widely even among hospitals in the same county. In the 270 counties where at least 2 hospitals have disclosed their cash prices, the average spread between the lowest and highest rates for a complex emergency room visit is $1,852. You know what this story tells me?
Explain to me where the scenario is that the overwhelming majority of Americans magically have $1,800 in their pockets. Explain to me what magical world do we live in where everybody has that in their pockets just for emergency purposes.
Not only that we have an even greater healthcare crisis here in the United States than we thought, and we need universal healthcare now, but it also shows me that this pricing, these exorbitant, crazy rates we're paying for healthcare in the United States, it's all arbitrary. It's all arbitrary. They just make this shit up.
Unironically, that's true. Unironically, that's true. Because guess what? You need this anyways. What are you gonna do? Not get the procedure that you need?
Random person comes in and they say, $3,000. Sure, $3,000. Next person, what you got? $7,000. You're $7,000. You're $20,000. You look
That's
like
right,
you got some good
Zeodude.
problems. $20,000 from this individual. You
There's
came
no way
in
to
in a
get
nice
corporations
car.
to play
We know
fair.
we can charge you.
Yep.
That's how the pricing works. That's how the pricing works. There's no set standards.
There's literally every other country has figured this out. Every other country has figured this out, Zeoduke, except for us. They had their chance. That's right. Yes, it's the market, or the thing that causes that market failure. I believe what you're talking about, Pirate Ninja, is inelastic demand. There's no... What are you gonna do? Not get insulin? Yeah, okay. I have a job, a decent pay and benefits, and I'm still paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, that's true. There's... you and tens of millions, Surfer Girl Gritty.
Okay, there's not just a strict, bottom line like a appendectomy, a flat rate. Nope. That same appendectomy could cost this person $20,000, this one $30,000, this one $40,000, this one $5,000. It's insane. That's how crazy the American healthcare system has become. And the longer we go without any kind of universal,
it's always been like this.
Healthcare package, the worse the problem's gonna get. This is utter insanity. Other countries will be laughing at us when they read this report. And they should. Because this is embarrassing, this is disgusting, and this is what we have allowed our healthcare system to become.
It's already been like that. I don't know. Just saying. It doesn't matter how close you get to the carrot, they'll just put it slightly further away. True. There's little we can do except for what we can to survive and start creating infrastructure for food, water, sovereignty in our communities. Yeah, that's an interesting concept. I completely agree with that. Build the systems in parallel. Show that it works. The reality is, a for-profit healthcare system is unbelievably inefficient. It's costing people. It's costing people's lives. It's putting people in this weird, ridiculous thing called medical debt, which is unheard of anywhere else. It's absurd. Have you guys seen that video where other folks from around the world react to the prices of the American healthcare system? They're like, wait, what? Wait, you have to pay? You have to pay for an ambulance? Wait, what? What is that? What is a deductible? Can still remember when hearing that was a thing, just mind-blowing. Yeah, we saw that video. I think it was a while ago, for sure. It was a while ago. I think it was a dude who went around interviewing folks from Europe and stuff, and asking them, asking them their thoughts about it. I think I like that concept, Ling. I really do. Speaking of which, and this is from Business Insider, folks. This pizza chain owner who pays $16 an hour says there's no labor shortage, just a shortage of businesses willing to pay a decent wage. I know Michael Moore is a person non grata, but the documentary Sicko is a good intro. Business owners say they're struggling to find staff. Not so the CEO and pizza restaurant chain in Washington, D.C., who claims he's been bombarded with job applications. Michael Lastoria told Business Insider that business was a booming at the pizza chain's 51 locations, and they were all fully staffed. He said the secret was paying staff a proper wage. Wow, what a concept! Have you guys seen those posts around the internet where the people would post pictures of the signs that said oh, bear with us, we're understaffed, nobody wants to come into work? I actually saw one of those in IRL. Down south in for those of you that don't know, in a Pollo Tropical. It's a restaurant chain, local. I think it's only local to South Florida, I think. Anyways, I saw I actually went to try to get some pollo, and sure enough, the sign was there. Understaffed. So the only thing that was available, you can't go inside. You can't go inside. The only thing that was available was a drive-through. That's it. And there was a sign. I should have taken a picture of it. There was a sign on the door saying that they're understaffed, and only drive-through is available. Yeah, because we don't pay a livable wage. Yeah, I'm sure Pollo doesn't pay a living wage. 100%. The crippling U.S. labor shortage has been felt in all corners of the country, including hospitality and ride-hailing. It's caused some businesses to slash opening hours, cut production, and raise prices. Huh. So, wait. Folks. Because people, turns out, don't want to work for crappy wages anymore, it's actually the resulting factor is actually raising prices. So here's the deal. Here's the deal, Jack. Pay people properly, and you don't have to do any of this. Morning. You don't have to cut production. You don't have to slash your opening hours because you don't have enough staff. You don't have to raise prices because you're struggling. Just pay people a living wage. Also, a lot of daycares and other places aren't open, so those people haven't gone back to work. True. Maybe Renton may because staffing shortages are hurting revenue. Yeah, no kidding. Non-compete conditions and contract, true. But it has knocked and Pizza, Lastoria said, while opening 12 new locations, so businesses are booming. Lastoria said he received well over 100 applications for each job. And by the way, this isn't just like a one of. I've seen many businesses have are getting ahead of the game by just paying people more. It's just as simple. Productivity goes up. Business revenue goes up. It is also sort of a PR stunt as well. So it attracts more people because they feel like they're doing good. I mean, our new locations are fully staffed and we plan to add another 15 by the end of the year. Businesses are booming. Turns out, treat people like people. That's right. McDonald's in Denmark pays the equivalent of $26 and the food is on average about 50 cents more expensive. Yep, that's right. And the folks in Denmark also get benefits as well. So not only do they get paid a decent wage, but they also get a whole bunch of benefits. They also have universal healthcare systems and other very generous social safety nets that seem to provide people the basic necessities, which is the least a wealthy country can do. And there's no reason why we can't do that here. I mean, Denmark, what does Denmark have, like some magical massive difference of resources than we do? Does Denmark have a massive more GDP than we do? Is there something that we're missing here? Or is it maybe that we just should probably reorganize our priorities and take care of our citizens? I mean, it's not perfect, but I think that they're like way I think that they're ahead of us. They're like, in terms of like how they treat their citizens, they're way ahead of us. I mean, there's things that we can take. Specifically, some of the generous social safety nets. I think that's something to strive for. Lastoria said he'd been able to dodge the labor shortage by leveraging an employee-centric business model that involves paying staff $16 an hour on average, among other benefits. Amazing. We are living proof that the claims that business owners are making about the impossibility of paying people enough money to live on are false. Those claims are designed to protect old corporate mindset that permits shockingly high executive pay and staff exploitation. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Yeah, that's it right there. Like, if you can't factor in, yeah, the good kind. That's right. If you can't factor in the health of your employees, in other words, the ability for them to be paid well or decent, fairly, I should say, the ability for them to have good benefits, then you aren't calculating everything in your business. And if you can't manage that, why do you have a business in the first place? Employees working at And Pizza are entitled to benefits such as paid leave for activism and healthcare. Lastoria said, "We built this company around taking care of workers because without them we wouldn't exist." I mean, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of companies who are suffering because they refuse to pay. They refuse to pay workers, and therefore, they're just quitting. They're just quitting. The fact that the average minimum wage worker has to work 79 hours a week to afford rent in a one-bedroom apartment is the real crisis. True. There isn't a labor shortage. There's a shortage of business owners willing to pay a living wage. The reality is, like, if you can't factor in these things in your business, then you shouldn't be in business. Period. That's just the way it is. I mean, if you can't factor these, costs, and if you can't have that into your business model, why are you in business? The idea that wages couldn't possibly rise even once over the past 12 years while prices went up, inflation went up, and the cost of living went up has resulted in the shortage of business owners are experiencing today. Higher wages lead to greater consumer spending and greater workforce productivity, things that every company benefits. Amazing. A competitive labor market has led to workers to rage quit their jobs, to protest poor pay and working conditions. A former employee at Dollar General recently told Insider how she rage quit her job in the spring of 2021 because of the fraught work environment. Similar incidents have occurred in McDonald's, Chipotle, Hardee's, and Wendy's locations around the US. True. Correct, Wing. If you aren't paying your employees enough to cover basic survival costs, what possible incentive could a person have to take that job? Now that is a great... Wait, that is a great line. That is a great line. If you aren't paying your employees enough to cover basic survival costs, what possible incentive could a person have? What possible incentive could you have if you can't even cover your basic costs of living? Where's the incentive? I mean, like, the only reason people take these jobs is because there is sometimes literally no other choice. I mean, what is it? Are you going to work at McDonald's for $9 an hour? Or are you going to work at Walmart for $9 an hour? Or your other choice, Wendy's for $9 an hour? I mean, sometimes it literally is just that. Now that's a proper way to rage quit. True. But here's the line right here. I actually like this. If you aren't paying your employees enough to cover basic survival costs, what possible incentive could a person have to take that job? If someone's going to come along and subsidize the other costs of facility or paying below otherwise sustainable living, well, that's just a new part of your business model. We need to keep striking until there's treated like humans where we are worked more than the serfs. True. True. There are literally people who have to take 2 jobs just to stay afloat, sometimes even more. Just to stay afloat, not even to have like leisure money. Well, even if they did, what leisure are you supposed to have when you work anywhere from 60, 70 hours a week, right? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Pre-pandemic, 52% of homeless had full-time jobs. Oh, yikes. So the majority of homeless people had full-time jobs. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Call Joe Manchin and say thank you. Seriously. Call Kirsten Sinema and say thank you.
GOP lawmakers, both current and former, were caught on video thanking Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema for obstructing the Democratic agenda. This was revealed by Lauren Windsor of the web show Undercurrent. Check out this video.
We have a bunch of people running around, particularly progressives, who all they want to talk about is, well, let the people's will be done. No. We don't want the people's will to be done immediately because you have the passions of the majority that remember, our Constitution was set up to protect who? Minority rights.
Amazing.
Not the majority rights.
Amazing. Saying the quiet part out loud. Hold on, can we rewind that?
Well, all they want to talk about is, well, let the people's will be done. No. We don't want the people's will to be done immediately because you have the passions of the majority that remember, our...
Wait. Hold on. If the majority of the people want, I don't know, a living wage, yeah, F them. If the majority of people want, like, some type of universal healthcare system, yeah, F them. If the majority of people want, reforms of, I don't know, democratic reforms of whatever, F them. We don't want the will of the peasants. Right, Zeoduke. Yeah, maybe in like 10 years. Having a minority party filibuster every bill is exactly what our forefathers had in mind, true. Even though that the filibuster was a kind of concept conceived after the fact. Is often cited as the most conservative Democrat in the Senate. Yeah, of course. These people are congratulating him.
Our Constitution was set up to protect who? Minority rights, not the majority rights.
But the reality is they are pushing as far as they can. Fortunately for us, the filibuster is still in effect in the Senate. Without that,
howdy.
would be dead meat.
And
this thing would be, then we'd be having a little bit more frantic discussion than we're having today. But thank goodness for Sinema and Joe Manchin.
I like it when AOC is going after Joe Manchin. Like, this is great for me. You know, it makes my job easier as a conservative because, you know, I can go to Joe Manchin or Kirsten Sinema and be like, hey guys, you know, and I'm really sorry.
You see, this is the problem. This is exactly what I was talking about the other time. No, the goal isn't to, like... The goal is to try to figure out what it is that we can leverage to get these people on board, instead of, instead of doing this, because then the conservatives are completely fine with this. I'm hanging out. This is why electoralism doesn't work. Well, the thing is, you have to, in order for it to work, realistically, in order for things like this to work, there has to be certain things in place, right? I talk about this all the time. One of them being transparency, what your government is doing. One of them being is strong institutions. In other words, institutions doing what they're supposed to be doing, not broken, like the Senate. And inclusive institutions, meaning as many people as possible need to be participating. It needs to be as easy access as possible to vote. It needs to be just kind of a normal thing for everybody, or as many as humanly possible, to vote. Then these systems work. But without it, you have failures, like what we're seeing here. The game is getting the most votes for the smallest monetary expenditure. True. Republicans are minority. In my state, Democrats outnumber Republicans, but because of gerrymandering in the Senate, they have complete control over everything. Yeah, these are broken institutions. They're not strong. If you have like institutions that are weakened by things such as gerrymandering, by things such as undue influence of money in politics, yeah, it doesn't. Then it doesn't work.
You're having to go through that. That's just a shame. Nobody should be treated like this. I just really thank you for standing for the country. And all of you in this room, people at home on Zoom,
Maybe.
Let me tell you right now, if you want to do one thing to keep the Republic afloat, call Joe Manchin's office, call Kristen Sinema's office, be polite. Smile as you talk on the phone. If you talk on the phone with a smile, your voice sounds better. You're just like, hi, I'm here to talk to Senator Joe Manchin and thank him for keeping the filibuster intact.
Thanks.
I'm just a Republican voter from state X, doesn't matter. But I just want to say thank you. Because what's happening up here
There's your bipartisanship.
is the fact that they've decided not to blow open the filibuster. In a lot of respects, is going to save the Republic from the worst things that the left wants to do.
Oh no.
And HR 1 is the tip of the iceberg.
So we just got to hold the line right now.
Oh no.
Keeping the filibuster's a big part of that, and all the other elements that I know y'all are discussing this week.
It's a lot easier to pass giveaways than it is to take them away.
Can we just take a second to Can we just take a second to acknowledge what he just said? It is a lot easier to pass giveaways. You know what he means by that, right? Social safety nets. It is a lot easier to pass social safety nets, like universal healthcare, than it is to take them away. Why? Why is that, Rick Santorum? Why is that? Exactly, Zeoduke. That's the argument. They're gonna give people things for free, right? If it's a lot easier to pass giveaways than it is to take them away. So they understand. Folks, they're telling you that this is like, this can't be as blatant as possible. This can't be as open as possible. They understand that, and mind you, none of this audio leak or video leak, in no way, shape, or form has this person indicated anything involving trying to solve problems. Not one. Right? Their entire job, which Mitch McConnell was very open about, is to obstruct. It isn't to help the people. It isn't to propose their counter bills. It isn't to propose their own plans. It isn't their intent on furthering the discussion about healthcare or whatever. It isn't their intention on even acknowledging any type of discussion with climate change. It's just a radical left agenda. They're not intending on discussing any type of solutions, right? Their whole game plan is to obstruct. Hey, Peter Parker. That's it. And here's the quiet part out loud. It's a lot easier to have giveaways, which they aren't giveaways. They're reorganizing our priorities to help the people. Using your tax money, using your hard-earned money to give yourself healthcare isn't a giveaway. It's just using the government for what it's supposed to do. And they understand that. So you want the government to solve all your problems? What does that mean? What does that even mean? Are you okay? And they understand that once something like a universal healthcare system passes, there's no taking that back. There's no taking that back. We all know how corrupt, bloated, and inefficient government is. Is it really? And you want to give them more power? Nah. I just want to reorganize what they have to actually do what it's supposed to be doing. That's literally what it is. I just want them to do what they're supposed to be doing.
Everybody thinks, oh, well, we'll just take them away. No, we won't. No, we won't. So please, if any of you have any thoughts about...
That's not what I said. Do you have like a hearing problem? I didn't say the government is going to solve all our problems. I just want them to do what they're supposed to be doing. I want them to represent us. He's telling you their intention is never to represent the people. In the beginning, he said, let's not even do the will of the people. What is it? We don't want the people's will to be done immediately. I mean, like, what? Wait, then why are you there? Then why are you there?
It was a good deal. And I know the previous president...
But the reality is...
I know the previous president was for...
Keeping the filibuster is a big part of that, and all the other elements that I know y'all are discussing this week.
It's a lot easier to pass giveaways than it is to take them away. And everybody thinks, oh, well, we'll just take them away. No, we won't. No, we won't.
That's right.
So please, if any of you have any thoughts about the idea that a filibuster removal, it was a good deal. And I know the previous president was for it and still is. It's a bad idea.
Previous president, Trump, was okay with the filibuster removal. Now, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea, folks.
Call Joe Manchin and say thank you. Seriously. Call Kyrsten Sinema and say thank you.
That's not what I said at all. Do you have like, is there like something blocking? Can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody hear me okay in chat? Okay. I didn't say I want the government to give away money. That's not what I said at all. I said I want the government to actually do its job, right? Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, does that compute in your head? What more self-sufficient can a person be? How more self-sufficient can a person be when they have all the tools that they need to be their best self? Food, housing, education, healthcare. How much more can a person be self-sufficient than to have these basic necessities met so that they can be their best individual self? What is the government's job? The government's job is to A, provide and protect the so-called rights that it's enshrined, such as the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Hey Memmius, how's it going? Yeah, UBI does not make people lazy. That's right, we're a social species, not a single person on this planet is, quote, self-sufficient. True. There aren't many states that actually run healthcare. The difference is how they work out, charging for the most part rather than who pays the doctors. Yep. On a more serious note, in many ways, this is the government governing. We've had evidence of politicians deciding and voting for policy against their constituents for decades, and people have continued to support it and play blame games. Yeah, the problem is, the reason why this is failing, James, is simply because there's no... remember, folks, in order for this to work, there's 3 things that we need, right? Transparency, which all of these backroom shady deals happen. We don't know every law that comes out down the pipeline. Strong institutions, which clearly they are not. Clearly they are not if they can be bought. With undue influence of money and politics. For example, that's just one of the issues. And inclusive institutions. We have poor voter turnout. We have poor participation. People don't feel like any of these folks are representing them. I wonder why. So therefore, they don't participate. Yeah, this guy's just a clown. UBI doesn't make people lazy? Huh, have you heard about all the stories of people who don't want to go back to work because of the COVID unemployment benefits? Could it be that maybe if your job is paying you less than unemployment, there may be a problem with the actual wages, not the actual unemployment benefits. Furthermore, unemployment isn't some magical thing that lasts forever, right? And third of all, you can't even apply for unemployment or continue to receive unemployment benefits unless you continuously show proof that you're actively searching for a job. If you reject a job application and that employer reports you, your unemployment benefits are cut. This is incredibly myopic, and it shows just how uninformed some people are. And I would highly encourage you to maybe, this may be too much of an ask, maybe do some research before you speak. Hey, Madame Defarge. Maybe they'll be back in one day. Account created 21 hours ago. Oh, okay. That's just a troll. That's right, Zeoduke. Because you get into a debate of whether they should or shouldn't listen to the public, which has its own swath of literature. If you are of the position that the will of the... the will of the people is just, though, then realistically people have to start thinking about representative politics. If it doesn't work, and seems to be inevitably lead to increased disparity between what the public wants and what the government does, and that's not just the US. I think that, there is an argument for that, but I think mostly is, well, there's a lot of there's a huge undue influence of money in politics that tips the balance, right? That doesn't happen in other places because they ban large amounts of money in politics. In fact, in some areas, they even have public funding of elections. They don't even allow campaign ads on TV. It's all about running on the merits of your policies. I mean, that will alleviate a lot of that situation, I think.
So that, of course, is just further confirmation of what we already know. That Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are basically just helping the GOP. I mean, here they are. They're laughing at Manchin and Sinema for being dumb enough to do their bidding. The audience there is. But the reality is Manchin and Sinema are working in the best interests of their corporate donors. Many of those donors, of course, that they share with Republicans. So, a couple of examples of this. Recently, I covered this. Leaked audio of Senator Joe Manchin call with billionaire donors provides a rare glimpse of deal-making on filibuster and January 6th commission.
Amazing.
Manchin urged big money donors with no labels to talk to Senator Roy Blunt about flipping his vote on the commission in order to save the filibuster.
Amazing.
So if you didn't catch that story, check out this video, check out the audio, or check out this article, or watch my video on this. But you had Joe Manchin caught during a Zoom meeting, basically telling these big corporate donors to convince Roy Blunt to flip his vote, so it at least appears that we are able to work with Republicans, so that Joe Manchin could keep pushing this bullshit idea that there is a bipartisan deal that we can reach on whatever issue. But of course, Manchin knows that's bullshit, but he needs plausible deniability. And for him to get that plausible deniability, he needs people like Roy Blunt to flip their votes to make it seem like that there are at least some Republicans that are going to work with Democrats, when of course they're not going to work with Democrats on actually doing anything substantial to help people. So, and by the way, Manchin was basically hinting at, hey, give this guy offer this guy a cushy job when he's out of politics as a way to entice him to flip his vote on this. It was so disgusting, but it's exactly what we've been talking about that goes on. We're just now seeing a lot more, leaked video and articles about this. Another example, of course, this is public knowledge. U.S. Chamber rewards Senators Manchin, Sinema for opposing Biden initiatives. When you have the U.S. Chamber of Commerce coming out publicly rewarding Manchin and Sinema for aligning with business interests along with Republicans, that tells you everything you need to know. So this video here, this secret video catching the GOP saying this stuff, is just, it's what we already know, I guess. True. Just in video form. But then just a part of that video,
it's nice to know that we can actually kind of point to what we've been trying to say for a long time and just be like, see, this isn't something that we made up in our heads. That's what they literally think. That's what they literally think. Mind you, this was a leaked video. This was supposed to be private. The quiet part. And then they have the audacity. Well, when he used to be senator, and these type of people have the audacity to get up there in Congress and soapbox. Interesting, James. I would like to see that. I would like to see that.
Was really incredible, where you had a GOP representative, Byron Donald, telling Republican voters to call Manchin and Sinema's office to thank them for their obstruction. So here you have, essentially Manchin and Sinema can never again claim that Democratic voters are in support of the filibuster or of their obstructing of Biden's agenda. Because you have here...
Why would they? I point to the monumental on the ground effort that was made to make sure that that Georgia flipped blue, something that was I would say almost guaranteed not to work, but it did because of the unprecedented groundwork, the unprecedented door-to-door outreach. A lot of groups went out there and did their part to try to get as many people out to vote. That's what did it. It was the overwhelming turnout. It was the overwhelming turnout that did it. Now that these folks were elected, we expect them to do the will of the people, to represent us. That was the entire point of the concept of, quote, representative democracy. Currently, in this iteration, it is clearly not working. In fact, they tell us that's not what they want. They tell us the will of the people. No, we can't do that. We can't do that immediately. Whoa, slow. The will of the people. What are you, some kind of pro-democracy guy?
Republican lawmakers encouraging Republican voters to call Manchin and Sinema and pretend that, oh, you're doing a great job, you're standing up for Americans. When in reality, what they're doing, of course, is standing
Ooh.
up for
I'm going to read that book, James.
ultimately Republican donors and the wealthy, but standing up for Republicans. I mean, Manchin and Sinema basically are Republicans, except for, a couple of votes. All they are doing is obstructing. So this is ultimately the barrier to any progress here. As long as you have the filibuster in place, as long as you still need 60 votes to pass anything substantial, even 51 votes or 50 votes is tough to get when you have Manchin and Sinema not willing to hop on board with a lot of the stuff when it comes to budget reconciliation.
Hey, OG Landshark.
Then nothing is going to get done. And ultimately, this is what's going to, once again, hurt Democrats in the midterms. When Democrats have power and they don't do anything with that power, that is why they lose support. They don't lose support because they're talking about, or because someone's talking about defund the police or talking about, raising corporate tax rates or Medicare for all. Democrats lose support because they don't actually do anything with the power that they have.
I think that's true. I think that if the Democratic Party has any real interest in winning in the midterms, it would probably be in their best benefit to actually do something. I mean, literally anything. The few good things that they have done is, I feel, underwhelming. Comparing with what A, they ran on, B, what they have the capabilities of doing, right? Because they absolutely have capabilities of doing something more than this, right? Howdy, howdy. Alright, we gotta talk about this really quick. Trump easily wins CPAC 2024 GOP presidential nomination straw poll. Amazing. Former President Trump easily won the 2024 GOP presidential nomination poll at the Conservative Political Action Conference gathering in Texas. Trump, who's repeatedly flirting with making another presidential run in 2024 to try to return to the White House, captured 70% of the ballot cast in the anonymous straw poll. Yikes. That's a boost from 55% of the support he won in a hypothetical 2024 Republican primary matchup straw poll in late at CPAC Orlando in late February. Yeah, so it's quite clear that the Republican Party is the party of Trump. Clearly, his support hasn't waned in the least within the Republican Party. It's actually increased. So yeah, something to watch out for as we approach the midterms and of course 2024. Because here's the deal, Jack. If the Democrats fail, which it seems like it's a possibility, and they do horrible in the midterms, 2024 comes along, and guess what? Yeah, that's right, folks. If Trump runs, he will win. Or, if he doesn't run, then he will back his guy, which seems to be the best option for them, would be Ron DeSantis, which makes sense, as Ron DeSantis has been elevating his national profile throughout the last, months. I don't think the Republican Party might have shrunk under Trump as moderates bailed on it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he can get a position set up for a political referee that calls the other team out for the BS and timeouts and point deduction. But Ron DeSantis, yeah, Ron DeSantis is the second who, if Trump isn't going to run, he then will probably put his weight behind DeSantis. I don't think Trump will win after what happened at January 6th. He's lost too many votes in the center, I think, and I say that as a conservative. I don't think so. I think people underestimate the ability for Trump to pull things like this off. Also, please take into consideration that if there is a failure of the Democratic Party, and that creates a sweeping loss across the board, in 2022, especially if they don't do like literally anything, what energy is the Democratic base supposed to have? Right? What energy is the Democratic base supposed to have at that point? It's that trick only worked once, Peter Parker. That trick only worked once. If their strategy is to be like, well, we're not Trump, that's not gonna work. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. The only reason why why Trump lost is because there was an unprecedented voter turnout. Unprecedented in 100 years? Do you really think that maybe that's gonna happen next time? Specifically if like they get swept in 2022? Where's that energy gonna come from? That was a one-shot strategy. That is an untenable political strategy to say and point the finger and saying, we don't want Trump anymore. Yeah, hey, listen, buddy. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay, and I hope that maybe one day you'll look up to somebody better, or to adulate someone different. And yeah, imagine one day more Trump. Yeah, I want more of that con man, please. That can be counterbalanced with the fact that Trump being a populist has likely activated a lot of regular non-voters and apathetic voters who are enthused to vote Republican. Yeah. Alright, last chance, buddy. Do you have like a point? Do you have like any points other than Trump 2024? Hey, Miss Nixa, how's it going? Or is that like the only thing you're capable of typing out? Is that the only thing you're capable of typing out, or what? Yeah, probably a copy paste. Sad. Sad. Anyways. Yes, that is disturbing. Which, by the way, hello, Jesse. Yes, it's incredibly disturbing. This low tier trolling breaks my heart. Right, it's not even funny, it's not even like witty. It's not even witty. Nothing. Just emptiness. Vapid. Repeating the same comment twice. Sad. They're just not sounding their best, folks. I want to personally thank each and every one of you for your incredible... Oh, hold on, folks. I'm sorry. Alright. That's boring. Boo. So I guess this person can't, like, literally type anything else. No points, no counter arguments, no... Not even 1 point. Not even a bad... Not even, like... Not even if it was like the worst point you could possibly make, like you didn't even attempt to make a point. That's so sad. That's so sad. I hope, like, honestly, I hope you have some, and I don't know if you understand these words, but I hope you have some like introspection, and one day you look back on this and be like, wow, that was pretty cringe. I'll be off, you guys. Nice hanging out. Stay healthy, y'all. You stay healthy. Thank you for hanging out. But then I realized it was Sunday. True. Yep. We can go on and on, Zeoduke. And, Memmius. I think so too, James. I think that elections come down to who can mobilize and demobilize the best, which is why I keep stressing the idea. Of like, hey, if the Democratic Party has any interest in winning, well, what energy, what turnout are you going to have if you don't produce any palpable results? That's it. I do agree with you. So yeah, excuse me, folks. I didn't do that properly. So let me redo that. Let me rewind that for a second. I want to personally thank each and every one of you for your incredible support. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis came in at a distant second at 21%. No one else among the 19 potential Republican White House contenders topped 1%. Oh my god. Oh yeah, hold on. Y'all really special. My god, not even Ted Cruz. This is literally the party of Trump, folks. The only person who manages to even get a sizable support from the within the Republican Party is Ron DeSantis, essentially a mini Trump. So like, oh boy. My point being is that we need to like pay attention to this. DeSantis, a first-time governor and Trump ally. I would say a Trump duplicate, or borderline duplicate. Ted Cruz too slimy to get votes. Sad. It has also got anything to do with the fact that the only name on the survey they recognized was Trump. Oh, you know what? That might be possible. I didn't think about that. Maybe they didn't recognize anybody else. That's kind of weird, because like, even when I vote in primaries or even when I vote in local elections, I still research the names that are on the ballot to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. Wait. Yeah, I blame the Dominion machines, that's right. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, there might be, that's an idea. OG Landshark. Yeah, that's right, they switched 21% of the votes. DeSantis, first-time governor, and Trump, I would say Trump duplicate. Ally is a stretch. Who soared in popularity among conservatives nationwide for his resistance to lockdowns and COVID restrictions amid the coronavirus pandemic. Easily topped the second 2024 ballot question without Trump on the hypothetical ballot. Also, his resistance to COVID restrictions and overall piss poor management is now, we're on the top 5. We're the top 5 right now in cases, and I think also hotspots for the Delta variant. Thanks. Good job. Good job. DeSantis grabbed 68% of support on that question, with former Secretary Mike Pompeo at 5%. Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump Jr. I didn't even know he was on the poll. And Ted Cruz were both at 4%, with South Dakota Kristi Noem at 3%. No one else topped 2. Hey there, Frederick. The straw poll results, along with former president's headliner speech on Sunday, were the most anticipated moments of a 3-day gathering of conservative activists and leaders from across the country. Trump's strong performance comes as no surprise. Yeah, no kidding. CPAC, the largest and most influential gathering of conservatives, has become a Trump fest since his 2016 presidential election victory. True. So yeah, the people who are trying to say that this isn't the party of Trump are severely mistaken. But coming in hot third was a Rambo. Do they have a speech? His speech?
Welcome to Manhattan, Hawaii.
PAC speech is GoPAC chairman and GOP strategist David Avella and the former President Trump and a year after President.
I think it's a tough choice to make. Because we got to understand and we got to remember that a potential Donald Trump candidate in 2024, he wouldn't be going as the out-of-the-box non-politician. He's not going as a president who lost re-election. So that
Wait, what? Wait. Oh, okay. Mike Lindell, Pillow Brains, and Overstock CEO are definitely supporting Trump's lies. Yep, that's true. Oh, I've been looking for this. I don't know, Jesse. I think that if he can't run, because like maybe he's just not able to, like physically, I think he will throw his weight behind DeSantis. Thank you, Darknet. I was looking for it last night and I couldn't find it.
Wait, before
He's a megalomaniac con artist, yeah. Yep. Oh snap. Resubscribe for 10 months, Ben. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Ben. I appreciate that. Folks, there's some wonderful people in chat, so I'm going to take a quick second to make sure that you all guys are aware. Please go follow twitch.tv/bleepblopben. Please, they are a fantastic content creator. Please go follow twitch.tv/alioshare, twitch.tv/surfergirlgritty. Let's see here. Twitch.tv/missnixa. And I think there's somebody else here that I missed. Making sure I got everybody. Madame Defarge. Twitch.tv/Madame Defarge 1789. I think that's it. I think that's everybody. Just making sure. And also, Atlantic World Jesse does a historical podcast as well on YouTube, so check them out. And sourcing support, twitch.tv/sourcing support. Making sure I got everybody there. Thank you so much, Ben. I appreciate that. All right, folks. Take a deep breath. Let's get into it.
Voter ID, so now the Democrats, people in the country want voter ID, so now the Democrats, again, same old story. They're saying, we want voter ID. We've always wanted.
Yeah, here, Darknet posted it, but I'll post it again.
We will completely defund and bar critical race theory. 1776, not 1619, if you don't mind. And if government-run schools are going to teach children to hate their country, we will demand school choice, and we already have been.
Okay.
If you listen to the media or watch the evening newscasts, our country has really gone bad.
Wow.
All we talk about is race. That's all they talk about, race. The whole show, race, race. We don't talk about our country being great anymore. We don't talk about how America can lead the world. We don't talk about stopping crime or the hundreds and hundreds of people.
Wait, hold on. All right. Hey, hold on. Do you want to talk about moving America forward? Amazing. So, how about we start giving people health care? How about we start actually like addressing income inequality? How about we start addressing the climate change crisis, which is affecting us not only in loss of human life, which hundreds of people passed away from the heat wave that's being exacerbated by climate change. Dozens of people, hundreds of people died in the Texas winter storm. That is a huge issue. We should be reorganizing our priorities to serve Americans. We should be leading the way, American exceptionalism, into developing and getting off fossil fuels and tackling the climate crisis. Oh, wait, no? None of that? We're not gonna get any of that? No? Not one? No?
That are being shot in Democrat-run cities and what to do about it. We don't.
Oh, you want to talk about crime? Okay, so are we going to deploy programs to alleviate the biggest driver of crime, which is poverty? So are we going to deploy resources to attempt to like alleviate the situation? Food, housing, education, healthcare? Is that what we're going to do to address crime, or are you just vaguely alluding to problems that exist that everybody knows that they exist?
Don't talk about ending the drugs pouring across our borders, which I had greatly reduced with our wall and so many other things that we...
Wait. So your wall greatly reduced the influx of drugs, which citation needed. Second of all, so then what's the problem? If your wall works, it's still there, right? So what's your problem? You see, this is like the cognitive dissonance, and like how people fall for this is beyond me. The wall reduced drug imports? No, it didn't. I'm just saying, if it did, if he alleges that it did, the wall was still there. Nobody tore down that wall. Overused wall. If you made more drugs, they wouldn't be imported anyways. Yeah, so like if you're worried about quote-unquote drugs, legalize it. And the drug war. Legalize it and decriminalize drugs. Boom. Easy clap. That's also a great way to reduce crime. That also ties into reducing crime. Yeah, just build another wall. That's what we need.
We're doing, and most importantly, we never talk about the great future of our country. We don't talk about any of this stuff anymore.
Great future.
The Democrat-controlled media talks race, race, race for political reasons. And they always have, but never like this. But it's hurting our country, and more than anyone else, our great minority communities. It's hurting them very badly. The Democrat obsession with race is only dragging us backward into the past, and it is bringing our country down to a point where even China and Russia are lecturing us on human rights, race, and they're doing it in a very humiliating fashion. This never happened. Never happened with me. During my administration, our country was respected again. It is no longer respected.
Do we need to like play the laughing track of like the entire UN laughing at him, or what? I've said it for years, make weed legal and it stops a lot of the cartel business here, to focus on the harder stuff coming across and focus on more stopping traffickers. Yeah, I mean, like, it's very simple, folks. Decriminalize and legalize drugs, end the drug war, period. You want to talk about crime? Do that. You want to talk about reducing crime? Reduce poverty. But he's not offering any of these solutions. He's just rambling on. Yeah, exactly, like a drunk person. I too remember when we were respected under Trump. You know, there's not like multiple scenarios of like people laughing behind his back, or, you know, the entire the UN laughing at him. You know, sure. That's right, Ziodu. Good point.
In conclusion, our party and our movement, we're all united by the same shared American values and by unyielding resolve to defend our beloved nation for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Against what?
We take great pride in our country, and we teach the truth about our history. We celebrate our rich heritage and national traditions. We honor George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and all of our national heroes.
True.
And of course, we always respect our great American flag. Well, I hope everybody will join me.
Whoa, Jesus. It scared me.
We believe in patriotic education for our children.
Okay.
And we strongly oppose the radical indoctrination of America.
We oppose the We oppose the radical indoctrination of children by introducing our own patriotic education. What does that mean? What does that mean?
America's youth. We are committed to defending innocent life and to proudly upholding the Judeo-Christian values of our nation's founding.
We're proud to defend innocent life. Interesting. What does that mean? Yeah, we know what it means.
We embrace free thought. We stand up to political
Free thought.
correctness, and we reject the intolerance of left-wing cancel culture. We believe in our Constitution and in law and order.
Except for me when I get investigated for fraud.
We want law and order. We
Except for me when I get investigated for multiple fraud screams.
demand law and order. We don't want people shot and killed in our cities. We totally respect and support the men and women of law enforcement. They will never be defunded.
Never.
We are devoted to our
Never.
communities. We are loyal to our fellow citizens. And above all, we live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust."
Oof. Oof. Yikes. No, that is not our national motto. I don't know where you got that from. No. That's not, nice meme. No. This is not a, this was not designed to be a fundamentally Christian nation. In fact, there was a lot of old writings saying that we should avoid that. There was even a concept that was put forth, is the separation of church and state. That was the whole rub. Yeah, he's still trying to get the evangelical votes. Yeah, no, this is not the national motto.
These are the convictions that define our movement today and must define the Republican Party, which has truly become the party of the working man and woman. The working man, the working woman. That's what's happening. Look how many people are joining. We have
Really?
a much different party than we had 5 years ago.
Oh, well, hold on, he's right about that. He's right about that. That's very interesting because, like, can somebody in chat name me a real palpable policy that he has proposed as of yet to be in favor of the working class? The name of the event is America Uncancelled. I'm going on to smoke a J. Trump's voice is like a nails on a chalkboard. True. So yeah, can anybody, like, just out of recollection, point to me like a good, very strong policy that affected the working class in terms of, like, oh man, this guy really is a champion of the working class. No? No policies? No, not one?
You were in big trouble, Republicans, and look what's happening. Now, for the next 16 months, we must pour every ounce of our energy into winning a historic victory in the midterm. Look what's happened to our country in
Look what's happened.
just a short number of months.
Only I can fix it,
Everyone here
guys.
today and every conservative all across our land needs to decide right now that together we will save this country.
Save-
We must
wait.
decide that we will not stop.
Hold on. What? I thought you already did that. I thought we did the thing. You were here 4 years. So now, wait. So you didn't save this country, but now you will. Now you will. Huh. That's so weird.
We will not rest until our American heritage of freedom, liberty, and justice is once again safe and once again secure.
What? So it is culty.
We owe our country nothing less than that. our glorious American inheritance was passed down to us by generations of American patriots who gave everything they had, their sweat, their blood, and even their way of lives to build America into the greatest nation in the history of the world. And we are not going to let it be taken away from us by a small group of radical left Marxist maniacs. We're not going to let it happen.
Right, like,
We will protect and defend our cherished American legacy and freedom.
but I still don't know what he means. Like, to anybody who, like, for some weird reason supports this guy, has he, like, provided any type of, like, specifics on what his policies might be, or what is, in fact, wrong with the current, administration? Has he pointed out anything that could possibly be beneficial to the working class? Has he illustrated just one example of anything that he's talking about? Like, I just want one example. I have no idea what he's talking about. These are just, and I'm being rhetorical, but like, these are vague, like, thinly veiled language, or just like generalities that mean really nothing. Yeah, exactly, Pirate Ninja.
For ourselves, for our children, and for every future generation, my fellow Americans, our movement is the greatest in American history, and it has just begun.
It has just begun.
With your help, your devotion, your brilliance, and your drive, we will carry forward the torch of American liberty. We will lead the conservative movement and the Republican Party back to victory, and it will be a greater victory than this party has ever had.
I can answer that.
We will take back the House. We will take
Fields.
back the Senate. And then, after witnessing all that has gone wrong in our country in such a short period of time,
What?
with our borders, with our economy, with crime,
what?
we will take back that glorious White House that sits so majestically in our nation's capital. Beautiful White House, that's small letters. White House, that beautiful White House.
What?
And it is the most beautiful house of all. Working together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again.
So it wasn't wealthy, it wasn't powerful under your administration? I don't get it. This, like, this complete, like, double speak that's going on here. Like, what is it? Is it powerful, or is it not powerful? Did we do it? Did we do the whole, like, did we make this country great again, or did we not? I don't understand. Trump asked the Supreme Court to uphold the rights of employers to include forced arbitration clause in contracts, thereby denying workers the capacity to press complaints against their bosses in open court. Yeah, champion of the working class. He sounds like CTV when he says, yeah. Well, to be quite frank, where do you think a lot of these folks get their talking points? That's right. Mamius, the champion of the working class.
We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again.
We will make America proud again.
We will make America safe again, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you.
This glue will shock you.
Oh. Yikes. It is cultish. It is incredibly cultish. It's very dystopian listening to this stuff. And I thought I could get away with, like, just leaving Trump finally. But, if this guy plans to run, then we do have to talk about it. Right, like, the whole idea, I think, was, like, that you're supposed to be afraid of something. And, I'll tell you what you're supposed to be afraid of. And, I'll be the one to fix everything. Me. That's what it sounds like to me. Alright, folks, actual important stuff. Folks, really quickly, I'm going to take a second to show for myself. If you guys enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button, and don't forget to do the YouTubes. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the awesome YouTube stuff. Follow us on TikTok. Yes, we're now one with the hip crowd. We are hippin' and hoppin' on TikTok. So follow us there for just small 30-second snippets of things that I may have missed, or any additional thoughts that I may have. And join the Discord. Do the Discords, you know. Do the Discords. We are going to try to introduce movie evenings on Sundays. So if you guys want, I'll just throw up a movie every Sunday around 7. So join that. And as always, I appreciate you guys. You guys are what makes this channel grow. Make sure you spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics in the AM. To everyone and anyone, spread the word far and wide. Alright, folks, we've got, this is an important topic, climate change. As we are still experiencing huge problems when it comes to climate change. Trouble in Alaska, massive oil pipelines are threatened by thawing permafrost. The slope of permafrost for an 810-foot section of the pipeline is secured has started to shift as the thaw is causing the braces to hold up, to twist and bend. Yeah, that's going to be a disaster waiting to happen. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline, as one of the world's largest oil pipelines, could be in danger. Thawing permafrost, which, ironically enough, is perpetuated by climate change, threatens to undermine the support of holding up an elevated section of the pipeline, jeopardizing its structural integrity and raising the potential for an oil spill in a delicate and remote landscape. The slope of permafrost for an 810-foot section of the pipeline is secured has started to shift as it thaws, causing several of the braces holding up the pipeline to twist and bend. That is seriously an ecological disaster waiting to happen. This appears to be the first instance that the pipeline support have been damaged by slope creep. A slope creep caused by the thawing permafrost, records and interviews with officials involved with managing the pipeline show. In response, the Alaska Department of Natural Resources has approved the use of about 100 thermosiphons, tubes that suck heat out of the permafrost to keep the frozen slope in place and prevent further damage to the pipeline's support structure. Yeah, yeah, TikTok. You know, where all the cool kids are. Ooh, oh boy. There you go. The proposed project is integral to the protection of the pipeline according to the department's November 2020 analysis. When will we get good news? Well, if, I don't know, by some miracle, we have managed to gather the political will to attempt to turn this ship around, that will be good news in terms of like the climate change issue. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep doomer pilling people, just trying to ring the alarm bells until time is out. While the use of these tubes is common along the pipeline's expanse, available records show that they have been previously used as a defense safeguard once the slope has begun to slide. This is a wake-up call, said Carl Weimer, a special project advisor for Pipeline Safety Trust, a nonprofit watchdog organization based in Bellingham, Washington. The implication of this speak to the pipeline's integrity and the effect climate change is having on the pipeline safety in general, which is perpetuated by the same product that this pipeline brings. See, instead of wasting all of this money and all of this time to try to like put bandages on these, shouldn't they just like reinvest and create the new and create the future? Shouldn't they innovate and create the future, knowing that this is already having so much problems here? Nope. Pandas are no longer on the endangered species list. What? That's good news. That's good news. Permafrost is ground that has remained completely frozen for at least 2 years straight and is found beneath nearly 85% of Alaska. In the last few decades, permafrost temperature there have warmed about as much as 3.5 degrees Fahrenheit. The state's average temperature is projected to increase 2 to 4 degrees more by the middle of the century. A study published in the Journal of Natural Climate Change projects that with every 2 degrees in temperature, 1.5 million square miles of permafrost could be lost to thawing. And of course, there are domino effects with that. As methane trapped in the permafrost gets released, it makes the situation worse. Also, clearly creates problems such as this here. In seeking permission in February 2020 to install the thermosiphons on the slope northwest of Fairbanks near Dalton Highway in the central part. Yeah, sadly, you know what? That's sadly true. In the central part of the state, Alaska Pipeline Service Company, which operates the pipeline, confirmed that the thawing permafrost posed a threat. This is irony, like going right above their heads. It's like the very thing that is leading to the destruction of their infrastructure. The very thing that is leading to the destruction of their infrastructure. And all they want to do is like put like a small tiny band-aid so that they can remain operational for just a little bit more time, for just a little bit more pennies. Oh, Zeoduke. Oh. Egan said that permafrost changes were anticipated during the original design of the 800-mile pipeline, which opened in 1977. That's really weird. Why would they predict permafrost changes in 1977? And runs from Prudhoe Bay in the north to Valdez on Prince William Sound in the south. There are about 124,000 thermosiphons arrayed along the path of the pipeline, a nod from its engineers to the importance of keeping the ground below it frozen. The tubes are bored 15 to 70 feet into permafrost in areas where warming might cause it to thaw, but those chillers only cool the permafrost directly below the pipeline, which holds the supports. The new project, which Alaska is installing about 100 freestanding thermosiphons 40 to 60 feet in the ground, is required to keep a broad slope from collapsing or sliding and damaging the supports. Constructions began last month and is expected to take 120 days and will also include a 3-foot layer of insulating wood chips atop the permafrost. Yikes. To avoid problems with the permafrost, 420 miles of pipeline were built on an elevated support system that keeps the pipe about 6 feet above the ground. The frames that hold the pipe, called the vertical support members, look like a capital H with the pipeline resting on the cross-stroke. Yeah, so, the TLDR is the very thing that's causing the problems. It's being perpetuated by the same thing that they're transporting. Trans-Alaska Safety record 18 oil spills in 20 years. Nice. Very good. Very good. Very good. As the melting permafrost threatens pipeline supports and raises the potential of an oil spill, which would be disastrous, Alaska said its emergency response plan that cleaning up an oil spill could accelerate the thawing. Yikes. Yeah, so TLDR, this is bad, and we will continue to see more of this. It's better to it's better to just straight up stop wasting money, time, and energy to putting band-aids on this thing instead of just actually using your supposed innovative capital to make up the new infrastructure for green energy that won't have these problems. I don't get it. Yikes. There have been 18 breaches of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline in the last 20 years, according to the Pipeline Hazardous Material Safety Administration. Yeah. That's right, Miss Nixa. Moving on to Florida. When the fines for these types of destruction is only a slap on the wrist, it becomes part of the cost of doing business for these large corporations with endless pockets. True, and they also continuously lobby, fight for deregulation, and by senators. In fact, we saw that undercover journalism work where they literally said, you know, we got about 10, which I also want to stress that 10 would be just the right amount to avoid a filibuster, to avoid the busting of a filibuster, to break up the filibuster. So they just happened to have the exact number, 10 or 11, I think it was 11, sorry, just in case. They have 11 senators in their pockets, just enough, just the exact amount that they need to make sure that whatever is in their minds doesn't get filibustered. Should they need that 60 votes for something. Among them, Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, among other few Democrats and Republicans. So they know. That's what it is. That's what it is. Spread it forward. There's no teeth to the repercussions because they're the ones who are being lobbied to the tune of hundreds of thousands. Manatees are too cute, not panda cute, but they're kind of weird, but damn, you don't want to hear about their suffering in headlines. Yeah, well, I mean, climate change is important, so we need to talk about it. I heard the nasty commercial chicken farms to be put in my area were put on hold. Yay! Alright, that's good. 2021 is already a death year on the record for Florida manatees. Why are they dying? Good question. This was a article I originally saw, but I think Darknet posted this version as a better source. More manatees have died in 2021 than any other year in state history, as biologists point to seagrass loss in the Indian River Lagoon as a catalyst for starvation and malnutrition. At least 841 manatees have died in Florida waters, mostly in Brevard County stretch of the 156-mile-long lagoon from January 1st to July 2nd, according to the latest Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission data available Friday. That breaks the previous record set in 2013 when 830 manatees died after exposure to red tide toxins that killed many of the sea cows. Nearly 53% of dead manatees this year were found in one of the 5 counties in the Lagoon runs through Volusia, Brevard, Indian River, St. Lucie, and Martin counties. The overwhelming majority has been in Brevard, where a record 312 manatees have died. Unprecedented manatee mortality due to starvation was documented on the Atlantic coast this past winter and spring. Florida's Fish and Wildlife Research Institute wrote as it announced the record on Friday. Most deaths occurred during the colder months when manatees migrated to and through the Indian River Lagoon, where a majority of seagrass has died off. And as we pull back the curtain, lo and behold, as temperature warmed and manatees on the Atlantic coast dispersed, boat strikes again became the leading cause of deaths for the sea cows in June, according to FWRI. So far this year, 63 manatees have been struck and killed by boats. Boat strikes underscore the need for previously identified threats such as watercraft-related mortality to continue to be recognized as a concern for the population. The die-off got the attention of marine biologists, lawmakers, and manatee lovers throughout the state as news of the crisis spread nationwide. In March, wildlife officials declared that's an unusual mortality event, which allows the federal government to work with the state and nonprofits to investigate the cause and take quick action to prevent more manatees from dying. While the investigation hasn't declared an official cause, some biologists believe that decades of human-caused water pollution have choked enough seagrass beds to leave the marine mammals struggling to find adequate food sources. Yep, that's right. It sounds like nitrogen and phosphorus runoff is causing cyanobacteria blooms, which smothers the seagrass. Yes, that's actually it's actually a very prominent problem. Darknet. It's been documented time and time again that this is the reason why we have the things that we do. In fact, my quote unquote brother who does studies regarding this. I've told this story before. I actually have gone on out in the field with him to help him, even though I'm not like a scientist or anything like that. But I've gone out in the field to help him gather samples, samples on the Bay Area to try to kind of get a hold of how the water is doing, because of the concern of cyanobacteria algae blooms due to runoff. In fact, they were working on a way of trying to restore some of the Everglades by pumping water, but they realized that the water unfortunately was not good because they had agriculture runoff. Sorry if that's personal. But why, brother? Because I've known this person for literally my entire life. His actual biological brother, we've known and we've grown up with each other as kids, literally from scratch. So, yeah, I consider him brother. Are there a lot of CAFOs? Right, not technically, not biologically. CAFOs or dairy farms in that area by any chance? That's a good question. Dairy farms. Let's see if we can find dairy farms in Florida. Holy yikes. Yeah, the map in Indian River County, which is here, doesn't seem to match the farms here. And find out into your kitchen or something? Yeah, Jesus Christ. That was a massive lightning strike? Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, what? Hold on, folks. Hey, Heat, how's it going? Yeah, that was pretty, that was pretty wild. Okay, more weekend, please? Yes, I wish. True. This, dairy farm propaganda. But, like, the thing is, like, just because they're here doesn't mean, like, the runoff doesn't affect, like, the rest of the, doesn't affect the rest of the state. Okay, yeah, so a lot of these causes, because they're obviously big sugar, big agriculture is huge, and they have been notorious for just dumping runoff. It could be from way upstream, right? They're notorious for dumping runoff. This isn't like new. A coalition of 16 concerned environmental groups and clean water-dependent business in June urged Governor DeSantis to declare a state of emergency to address the manatee crisis and ecologically suffering lagoon. The Florida Department of Environmental Protection said the emergency order isn't necessary and the state is using its resources to respond to the crisis with the help of local government and citizen organizations. Yeah. The evidence is overwhelming. Oh, wait, hold on. Indian River. Oh, yeah, it is on the East Coast. It's not that. It's drivable from my place-ish. Yikes. It's so tropical. Well, we live in a subtropical state. The evidence is overwhelming and indisputable. The coalition wrote to DeSantis that Indian River Lagoon, one of the most biodiverse estuaries in North America, has become an unhealthy algae-dominated ecosystem. U.S. Department of Interior downlisted the West Indian manatee in 2017, changing its status from endangered to threatened under Federal Endangered Species Act. Despite thousands of letters opposing the reclassification, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service reclassified the marine mammals, citing conservation efforts leading to the increase in manatee populations and overall improvement to habitat. Holy yikes. Jesus. I could do some IRL reporting. That would be great. You could go undercover as an algae. Well, I mean, I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but like the few times that I've been helping, gathering samples and stuff like that, I should have like somehow recorded that, because that was really cool. Gathering samples from the algae and samples from the water. As manatee deaths skyrocketed the first 3 months of this year, environmentalists and conservation advocates returned to this 2017 decision. Yeah, I think they should bring them back to endangered. That they're federally protected. Representative Brian Mast of Palm City wants to increase federal funding to local governments and nonprofits for rescue and rehabilitation of sick and injured marine mammals throughout the nation in Florida. I agree with that. I agree with that. MAST has introduced Marine Mammal Research Response Act. The Democrat Stephanie Murphy, who represents portions of the Orlando area, is the co-sponsor. The legislation could bring $7 million a year to protect marine mammals and study their deaths. I think this is a great idea. Yep. Database for sick or dead marine mammals to aid agencies like the National Academy of Science, Engineering, and Medicine to study broader trends. Yeah, I agree with this. The TLDR is much resulting of nitrogen and phosphorus that feeds algae blooms that comes from fertilizer runoff and sewage leaks. Bloom kills seagrass, manatee's main food source, by robbing water of oxygen and sunlight needed to grow. That's exactly what Darknet was saying. If they don't fix the upstream pollution, though, what else can they do? They can't. The reality is there has to be incredibly a huge crackdown on agriculture runoff. Not only is it bad for like important ecosystems, but it's bad for humans too, just in case they forgot about that. Yeah, these are like canaries in the coal mine, essentially. This is bad. They made a call for the environment where mammals, like these same mammals, these are warning us that we are contaminating our environment in all kinds of ways. That's literally it. How can you help? One major solution would be meaningful improvement in water quality in the Indian River Lagoon. Educator, according to Zach Jude, educator at the Florida Oceanographic Society, a research, education, and advocacy nonprofit and steward. If we don't eliminate leaky sewer pipes, malfunctioning wastewater treatment plants, and coastal septic tanks, while also heavily restricting residential and agricultural fertilizer use, in other words, there has to be a meaningful, heavy crackdown on the use of these chemicals. It's not really going to make any difference. Basically, it's not healthy for animals directly, but I believe it also helps retain heat in those areas, which is bad for the life in the area. True. Hey there, totally agree with your stream title. Monday can swivel. True. Monday can swivel. True. And may never be able to. Yes. Without. I would say trying to eliminate all this. The lagoon may never be able to sustain a healthy population of manatees. Just TLDR. Floridians are encouraged to contact legislatures in support of clean water projects. Yep, that's it. Get involved, folks. Get involved. Alright, folks. We've got to listen to this for a little bit.
Very good job of pulling on the emotional heartstrings of everyday Americans, and they use Democrats do a very good job of pulling on the emotional heartstrings of everyday Americans, and they use extremism and scare tactics. And I want to add one more note to your monologue, which is great. I couldn't have said it better myself, but it was President Trump that in his last few months of his presidency, he banned drilling off the coast of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, because that's what the states demanded and wanted, and he did it. It's Republicans that are finding ways to be innovative here. And look, you know, private innovation in the environment. Today, we saw a private citizen go to space. And if we allow businesses to be innovative, we can do the same thing, find the same kind of solutions for the environment as well.
So tell us a bit about what you're hoping to achieve with the Climate Caucus. What are the kinds of things we might expect there?
Well, we might expect Republicans to have a larger, stronger voice on the environment. There are a lot of young Republicans that vote on this issue. They care about this issue. I represent the coast of South Carolina, as do many Republicans, and our entire economy rests on a beautiful, pristine, and clean environment. Our economy is tourism and hospitality, and so our lifestyle demands it if we want to be successful. But having a stronger voice on the Republican side, bringing free market solutions, recognizing that overregulation has actually hurt the environment. As you stated earlier in your monologue, places like New York or California, where they have over-regulated oil and gas, they have to import it from other countries. And in New York, they're getting it from Russia, not an ally of the United States. It's mind-boggling how dumb some of these regulations are. And it's bad for the environment.
Exactly. That's what I think we've got to, not just set out the argument, the positive argument, as you've been doing, but to really call them out for this madness. And how can they call themselves the party of fighting climate change and carbon emissions when they're literally shutting down nuclear power, which, as I said, is the most reliable carbon-free energy source we have?
Yeah, it's the cleanest. And it's not like the November election, Steve, was a mandate on the green.
Shutting down fighting out for this madness. And how can they call themselves?
Where they have over-regulated oil and gas, they have to import it from other countries. And in New York, they're getting it from Russia, not an ally of the United States. It's mind-boggling how dumb.
Trump made it easier to lease public land for oil, gas, and drilling. True.
Not just set out the argument, the
yes,
positive argument,
it's true.
But really call them out for this madness. And how can they call themselves the party of fighting climate change and carbon emissions when they're literally shutting down nuclear power, which, as I said, is the most reliable carbon-free energy source we have?
I don't think that anybody's.
And it's not like the November election, Steve, was a mandate on the Green New Deal, and they've been trying.
Wait, who's shutting down like nuclear plants? Wait, who's doing this?
To shove the Green New Deal and every single spending package that the Biden administration has had to pass or get through Congress. I mean, it's insane what they're trying to do right now on every level. But most Americans, they want common sense, pragmatic solutions that just make sense to their wallets, their environment, and their businesses. And we can see innovation when we lower taxes. Businesses in the private sector have the ability, the money, and the resources to invest in pro-environment policy.
Exactly. Well, I'm so pleased you're out there.
Just one question. Can anybody name one business that has been incredibly innovative and has propelled us into the next stage of attempting to propel us in the future for energy? No, we did not have a nuclear shutdown. I don't know what she's talking about. Can anybody name one business who has been incredibly innovative under even the Trump administration, who claimed to just destroy deregulation and all this other stuff? The red tape was gone. Remember Trump? That's what he claimed. He eliminated as many regulations as possible, and under those 4 years, not one company decided to innovate. And the only innovations we've seen is how to maintain the crappy infrastructures that we have. That's right, Memmius. All of these things.
Putting this message out and developing that agenda. I think it's, as you say, it's going to be increasingly important, and it's a real political opportunity as well. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, thank you so much.
As always, thank you, Steve.
Hi, we're Lively.
Indian Point was recently decommissioned. So I guess they use that one example.
All right, joining me now, the president of the American Conservation Coalition, Benji Backer, and Hoover Institution fellow Lani Chen, who's just announced his campaign for California Controller. Great to see you both. Benji, I mean, we've talked about this before. The political opportunity is huge. What's your reaction to you're seeing real movement here, I think, from Republicans, not just in Congress with Nancy Mace there and many other colleagues, but around the country. Tell us your perspective on that.
Well, look, Steve, there has been an incredible transformation within the conservative movement over the past few weeks. We've seen John Curtis, an incredible leader in the United States House, launch the Republican Climate Caucus. We saw the Republican Senate senators pass the first pro-climate policy of the Biden administration. They did it as Republicans to help farmers fight climate change. It is going to be Republicans, conservatives, that are going to be at the forefront of climate action. But we have to stand up and say, okay, the left's approach is about politics. It's about alarmism. It's about scaring people. It's about scaring my generation. We're going to stand up for American ingenuity, American interests, and show the rest of the world that we can be the leader in green technology and fighting for a cleaner environment.
Lonnie, great to see you. What's your perspective? Well, look, I think that a lot of Republicans...
So what's the plan here? Are you guys going to be in favor of attempting to move away from fossil fuels in an unprecedented manner? I mean, like, I don't know. 3/4 of young Republicans want main energy priority to be renewables over fossil fuel, but that completely contrasts with the party policies actually is. Right, that's my problem. Right.
Out there and independents as well as Democrats want pro-environmental policies that don't just come with bigger price tags. And I think the challenge we have in a state like California right now, Steve, is that all of the answers we're hearing from Gavin Newsom...
See, this triggers me. Like, don't come with a bigger price tag. Hey, didn't we spend like tens of billions of dollars attempting to like put band-aids on things that don't work instead of just using that money to like innovate? And again, it blows my mind how like American exceptionalism doesn't exist when it comes to like dealing with something like climate change. It just goes right out the window.
from the rest of his allies in Sacramento, just as an example, is we need to spend more money to deal with these environmental challenges.
Yes.
My message is we need to figure out what we're actually spending this money on. Let's figure out if this money is actually going to be spent on solving and addressing these environmental challenges, as opposed to, as has been said before, making us feel better about what we're doing. We need solutions that actually work, and that should be the focus of policy,
yes,
whether
but
you're a Republican, a Democrat, or otherwise, and that should be the focus of policymaking in California going forward.
I totally agree with that, Will. And Benji, just quickly I want you to hit the nuclear power point as well. I put it to Nancy. I mean, it seems extraordinary to me that the Democrats can at the same time claim to be the party, they say the only party that's going to do anything about carbon emissions when they're dead against nuclear power. Why would they even say such a thing?
I'm not sure that's true. And second of all, they did like a little bit of things like reversing some of Trump's like horrible policies, but what have they really done in terms of like serious environmental policy? I guess they've done like a little bit here and there, but like, have they really proposed something like something like aggressive in terms of like attempting to solve the climate change deal? Have they been really like pushing for X, Y, or Z? Not sure.
Well, people like Governor Newsom and AOC, they talk a huge game, but they don't actually follow that up with real substantial action. Nuclear power is the only way that we can help fight climate change. And
that's not true either. None of those two statements are true. None of those two statements are true.
While we're standing by bickering about whether nuclear is good, which it is for our environment and our economy, China is financing over 70% of the world's nuclear plants. We are giving this issue away to China because our Democratic Party here in the United States is too scared to embrace nuclear energy because they have denied it for so very long. And that's
not true. And also, wait. Also, like, China is also the biggest like proponent or seller or manufacturer of like solar panel stuff. I mean, yeah.
We actually care about the environment more than anybody, and we are going to support common sense solutions like nuclear.
And Lani, what about the politics of it in terms of the Democrats? Do you think they've had it all their own way on this? They've been able to say, we're the only ones who really care about this. Republicans don't care, they're climate deniers, you know the rhetoric. In a state like California, it's really important to be able to have an answer to that that's really convincing. Because not only do we, as Republicans, have a positive solution, but the Democrats, who for years told you that they're the only ones that care, they don't have answers at all because, for example, they're closing down the nuclear power stations.
Yeah, and this is why it always has to start with this the answer by saying, listen, I'm a pro-environmental candidate. I want to do what we can to protect and preserve these wonderful natural resources we have in the state of California. But when you talk about spending all of this money, are you actually achieving the outcome you want to achieve?
It's too expensive, guys. Sorry, we can't do anything about it. We have to bicker back and forth about like a realistic price tag. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Are you actually saving the climate? Are you actually saving the environment? Or are you just making yourself feel better? Governor Newsom, for example, has proposed $11 billion in new spending on things related to the environment, but these are all one-time hits to make us feel better. There's no capital investment in trying to create energy that's cleaner and that is more reliable than what we have now. There is no longer-term investment in trying to make our state more environmentally friendly. This is all about one-time hits as opposed to longer investments. And that's the problem we really have, is so much short-term thinking, not enough long-term investment.
And just quickly, Lani, I just want you to talk more broadly.
I'll say this. The concept, the concept of like, the concept is true. There's a lot of short-term like bandages without any type of like long-term goals here. I will say that is true, although I don't know if he's actually supporting anything realistic. That's right, Zeoduke.
About the race you just entered last week, because living there in California, I think a lot of us are hoping to see an end to this one-party rule that has been so destructive, and the climate stuff that we just talked about, just one example. What's your how can people find out more about the campaign, and just tell us a little bit about the broader issues around it?
Yeah, well, look, I'm running for California State Controller. It's the Chief Financial Officer of the state of California. I believe it's time for us to finally have some accountability around taxpayer money, Steve. You've heard me talk about this before. Whether it's environmental issues or homelessness, cost of living issues, California is spending so much money. We have no idea where all that money is going. We have no idea if any of those programs are working.
Whoa, wait. Yeah, you do know where that money is going. It's itemized. Wait. That's not true. You do know where that money is going to. In fact, we did an article, I think it was like last month, where it's clearly outlined that X amount of millions of dollars are going to alleviate homelessness by doing X, Y, and Z. These programs include buying abandoned apartment buildings and stuff like that to attempt to alleviate homelessness. Yeah, we know what these things are doing. Wait, that's a lie. They're just. Like the way he's telling the story is as if like people are just like throwing random money somewhere without any like any way of like having any accountability. No, there's a line items on this budget.
Accountability, transparency, and independence. Let's finally bring some fiscal responsibility and fiscal sanity to the state, and let's have a check on the one-party monopoly and...
You want to talk about fiscal responsibility? Didn't California have a massive surplus? And if he knew, because clearly he has no idea what he's talking about, if he knew, he would know that California has a massive surplus, and they used that surplus to address or attempt to address homelessness. That was part of the programs that Governor Newsom was talking about. How could you be running and you don't even know? What are you talking about? Fiscal responsibility. California had one of the hugest surpluses.
Sacramento. I hope people will go to find out more about my campaign, chenforcalifornia.com, and they'll join me in this effort to finally bring transparency and accountability to state government here in Sacramento.
And Benji, you're up in Washington. Any chance of that kind of change happening up there? What do you think?
Well, I wish we could see more candidates like that out in our state. We have some serious problems with our governor, Jay Inslee, who is similar to the folks we've talked about earlier. Talks a big game, talks about big numbers, a lot of money being spent,
That's
but actually
right,
doesn't have a plan. And so in Washington state and nationally, what we need to do is take the political activism out of environmentalism, and let's put the environment back into environmentalism. We need to do that in Washington. We need to do it nationally.
Well, it's great. I totally agree.
But
it's great to see you both
how do you gather the political will to do something?
Great to see you tonight. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Ugh. All right, folks. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. This is what we're dealing with. This is incredibly important. Please pay attention. Please understand who your local representatives are, such as this guy who's running. Stay engaged, folks. Stay engaged. That's the only thing I can say. Stay engaged. Do the things that you can in the time that we have within the tools that we have. That's all that's all we can do. Okay? All right, folks. I do appreciate all of you guys hanging out. You guys are what makes this channel grow. If you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to follow. Don't forget to join us on the YouTubes, the TikToks, the Discords, all the awesome stuff. I really appreciate all your support, and please spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics. Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Saturdays, we do Saturday Catterdays around noon Eastern Time. Yeah, you can put all of that in the Discord. Is always going to conclude large-scale action immediately is the best answer. Yes, that's right, James. The alternative is I stepped away to use the bathroom and they're still going. Yep. Good luck to y'all. Have fun. Thank you. I appreciate you guys having stopping by. And yeah, the only option we have realistically is to do what we can in the most immediate and aggressive fashion to get off fossil fuels in the time that we have. That's it. Alright folks, I appreciate you guys hanging out here. Thank you guys so much. As always, please take care of each other. Please stay safe. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys, yes, go vegan, in the next stream. See ya! Do what you can to reduce the amount of, well, consumption of, period. Alright folks, we are heading out. Let's see here. Have a great stream. Have a great week. You have a great week. Substab. You know what? We get an opportunity to hang out with Substab. Let's go. You have a good day. Alright folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.